So fantastic. What we have now is live from Florida with his patch behind him, because it's his domain, is Coach Robert Carlbo, who is one of the most qualified coaches. Right, let's start again, because you can't be doing that. Okay, so just introducing you to Coach Robert Carlbo in his Florida lair. That is his patch of earth. That is his domain. And Coach Robert was formerly America's Coach of the Year, 3 Masters of Tennis, and most people would dream of having 1 Master of Tennis, and has got more qualifications than anybody else. And apart from that, extraordinary human being, and coached some Chinese coaches that coach people on the tour. So there's very little that Robert doesn't know. I am so grateful for him today live to talk about a topic that I saw with my own eyes recently, of people in a losing game, and before they know it, the losing game has become a lost match. So Robert's going to talk about 3 ways to stop a losing game, so you've got more than half a chance.
Okay. Mark, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to be part of this. Thank you. I've always enjoyed working with you and continue to do that. You have done so many wonderful things for the game of tennis, and we're all very grateful for what you have done. And thank you so much for the opportunity for me to talk a little bit about 3 ways for us to stop something that's going badly for us. But the good thing about it is these are things that we can absolutely fix relatively quickly. So the first thing that I want to talk about is that when we're losing and we start to play, we have to always remember and think about it as being mindful that the match is a lot closer than what we actually think it is. So we go ahead and, for example, many times you have a player who loses the first set and then immediately sort of gives up on the whole match. We want to continue to keep working on it, because again, if you lose the match, the first set 6-4, you could have lost it by 1 or 2 points here and there. So it's a lot closer. And when we get into this situation where we give up on the second set, we want to, we're giving our opponent an opportunity to finish it out, because the most difficult thing for us to do is actually close out the match. So the closer we can keep the match going and keep the pressure on this player, your opponent, that again, remember, there are just a few points between winning and losing. So then we can put the pressure on it, and the pressure shifts over to the other side. And you can see this very clearly in so many of the professional matches. Now we get into tiebreakers, right? One guy wins the first set in the tiebreaker, and then he loses the second set in the tiebreaker. And these matches are very, very close. It's just a couple of points in between. But many of the recreational players or the lower level players, they are not pressuring. They're still, they're thinking that I'm losing and it's, I'm so far off. But remember, you're a lot closer than what you think. It's just a couple of points here and there. Even if you're down 6-0, it's just a couple of points. So don't stress out about that. Be mindful of it. Okay, so it's much closer than what you think. So the second thing that I'm going to talk about is, what can we do to change 1 or 2 of these points? Okay, so the first thing that I would say is, you're going to keep the tactics the way they are. Okay, you worked on your tactics, you know exactly what your tactics are. But what you can do is you can change the way how you strike the ball. So you can hit the same tactic, but hit the ball harder, or hit the ball a little bit softer, add more spin to the ball, change it a little bit, work on the tactics that you are comfortable with, but make it into a little bit of a change. So there are many times when I play and there are guys hitting the balls, and I hit the ball a little bit softer, and the mistake happens. Okay, the exact same ball that I normally would hit, I just changed the pace ever so slightly. And the funny thing is, the slower the pace, sometimes I'm not hitting the ball shorter. I'm keeping it deep and doing all the same things that I was doing, I just changed the pace. And so many times, hitting the ball a little bit softer, the player will make a couple of these mistakes. And now it's gotten closer again. There was a very, very interesting match a few years ago. It was a match between Djokovic and Monfils, where Monfils pretty much just started hitting the ball in a crazy way. And Djokovic looked like a beginner because he was not used to someone hitting the ball that softly or being that erratic.
Just like Dimitrov and Andy Murray of,
exactly.
A day or two ago.
Yeah, so we get into these situations where we make some minor changes in the tactics are the same because we all believe in the tactics, serve +1, etc. You just change it. You hit the ball a little bit harder. And the one that works, again, like I said, is to add a little more spin or hitting the ball softer. Sometimes we go and we try to hit the ball harder, and then we get into this problem. And what you will notice is, and a lot of times we forget about it, is that if you hit the ball comfortably, the other guy is enjoying the shots. Make him uncomfortable. One of the ways for you to win is to hit your shots and make the other person uncomfortable. The more uncomfortable they are, the higher the chance are they're going to make mistakes, and that situation can change dramatically. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is, and it's a little bit of an in-between the two, is on occasion, change your tactic. So let's say you're a baseliner, and then go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to on a few shots serve and volley, but don't do it all the time. Just do it on occasion, a few shots here and there, and that can throw off the player. So we're still in a situation where we're completely comfortable doing things, okay? So I'm not asking you to go out and do something completely crazy. So you're playing, it's 3-all, it's 40-30, into the ad side, serve, volley, and that can change the dynamics completely. So get into something that is a tactical change, something that you're not that, you haven't been really doing, but go ahead and change it. Or you can you can hit the return and charge the net. And sometimes in those situations, what happens is just the change is going to cause the person to have some disruptions, because that's what we want. We want to change the dynamic. We want the person to be uncomfortable, because the final one that I'm going to tell you is to then go ahead and do that even more. Okay, so things aren't working, so then go to the net. Go to the net. If you're a baseliner, charge the net regularly, go in there as often as possible. Now, when you do something like this, you would have had to practice your game style so that you are capable of serving and volleying. The thing about it is, when you are serving and volleying, this is what you have to remember. And this is what my old coach used to tell me. And my coach told me this. I had a coach that also worked with Edberg. And Edberg was a great volleyer. And this is what my coach always said. If you go to the net 10 times and you make 6 volleys, you're ahead of the game. You're going to go there. It looks bad. It looks embarrassing. The guy passed you 4 times, but you're still ahead. So you keep going. So if you're a little bit ahead, you got 6 points versus 4, you're ahead of the game. But, you know, when you go and you're doing a serve and volley, it's very obvious who wins the point. Okay. So you say, okay, I'm not going to go ahead and do this. But you have to remember, if you do just a little bit more, if you're winning 51% of the points, again, that's everything is close in tennis, you're ahead of the game. If you're serving and volleying and you're winning 6 out of 10 points, keep doing it. Forget about the 4 where the guy's passing you. You may look uncomfortable, this, that, or what have you. Keep going, okay? And that also leads to the final thing that I was, put it all together. Keep doing the things that work for you. Okay, work on it. Sometimes you may think that a game style or situation works, but it may not necessarily be the one. You may be losing 6 points instead of winning 6 points. So you want to find that nice dynamic so that you can go ahead and do that.
Robert, thank you, man.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Just sum up the 3 ones again.
Okay, so the first one is you want to remember that the game is a lot closer than what you think it is, okay? Yeah. So, for example, if I play a match and somebody beats me 6-4, okay? And we go ahead and we play to deuce every single game, okay? And it's 4-4. The guy wins the next 2 points to get 5. He wins the next 2 points to get 6. So he beat me by 4 points. 6-4 was 4 points, potentially. Okay, it could be more. But you look at these big tennis matches and you see when they add all the points together, it's just a couple of points between the players. Okay, and the same thing is also happens on the recreational level. It's a lot closer than what we think it is. So just keep doing that. Keep pressuring so that you don't give it away. Okay, because a lot of recreational players give the second set away because they lose the first. Oh man, I can't do this, and you give it up. Keep plugging away, and keep plugging away, because the hardest thing for your opponent who's winning is to actually win the match. But if you keep it close, the pressure is on him. The second thing that I'm going to say is, I do this on a regular basis, and a lot of players do that. Never hit the same shot twice. But if you're hitting a shot comfortably over and over, change it. Start hitting the ball a little bit softer. Start hitting the ball a little bit harder. Put a little more spin on it. Okay, but you're playing the tactics that got you there. The tactics you're comfortable with. So you're not changing anything, making these crazy big changes that are going to make you uncomfortable. Because again, it's very close. The final one is to go ahead and change the tactics completely. Start small, serve and volley a few times if you're a baseliner, and just see if that 1 or 2 times in a set can change it. If not, do a wholesale change. Keep going, and then in your mind, remember, if you're winning 6 points out of 4, you're still ahead of the game. And when you do something like a serve and volley, a lot of times balls come passing by you, and you say, oh my goodness, it's not working. But in reality, it may be working because you're winning 6 points out of 4. 4 points are passing you by. It looks bad, but again, it's not as bad as you think it is. Okay?
Yeah. Man, thank you very much.
You're most
enjoy
welcome,
enjoy the rest of your day, and enjoy Florida.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Mark.
Are you okay out there, by the way, with the weather? Cheers, man.
Yeah, you got to come down and visit. I'm looking forward to it.
Have you not been on the wrong end of the hurricanes or anything down there?
Well, we had some. Are we off?